Hello and welcome to Channel 5's News at 5:15, where today, with a rather short episode of news, we will be talking with the smartest man alive and his cousin about some of the most revolutionary items and movements that have shaped this world. First of all, we'll be talking about computers. Hello, I'm Roberto Sanchez, the smartest man in the world, and I'm here to report about the modern computer revolution.
And I'm Eugene Smith. I'm going to be the one doing the interviewing the smartest man in the world.
Thanks, Eugene.
You're welcome. You're always welcome in our show.
Now, what kind of questions do you have?
Okay, so, Jesus, you say you're pretty smart. So what happened when the computer started? How did it start?
Well, really, the first computer were made several thousand years ago called the Hibiscus, which was a counting machine, because a computer is just something that can process and store data. So even if that's mechanical, it's still a computer. But what I'm here to talk about today, the electronic computer revolution, was really started when people needed to calculate mathematically things that they just couldn't do themselves or with a mechanical computer.
Okay.
And really, the electronic computer revolutionized the way people communicated, worked, and marketed.
Very good. Turn it off. Hello, I'm Mr. Nakiri, and I'm the second smartest man in the world.
Hello, I'm Bert, and I'm here to help Mr. Nicky report with us on the modern computer revolution. Now, who were the key individuals or companies that helped us move along?
Well, Bert, the first guy that invented the calculator, his name was George Stibitz, and he made his calculators in the early 1900s. And this calculator was very revolutionary because it was not mechanical. It didn't use a slide rule that had been used for many thousands of years. He used an electrical wiring that could do problems. And also there's HP, which they made their first computer in the 1930s, which could record sounds and do mathematical problems like George Stibitz calculator. So, smartest man in the world, what changes did it bring about?
Well, one of the big changes that it brought about was being able to mathematically calculate almost any problem extremely quickly. Now, it also brought new sounds to the movie-making industry, such as Fantasia. It was all computer-based. And, of course, it changed the way of banking today. There's most everything you touch today has to do with a computer in some way. All of our agriculture is run by computers, our banking systems, once again, and of course our social networking, which is, where a lot of our money goes. Video games were made from computers. One of the original games was made in the early 70s, called Table Tennis for Two, which was just on a very weak computer to today's standards. But really, the main thing that was brought about was the lack of interaction between people, because really, you can work on your computer, you can order food from your computer, you can really do just about anything on your computer. So, positive and negative changes, but most of all, positive.
Hello, I'm Jack Francais.
And I'm Alan Jones, here to talk about how some ideas and ways of thinking were replaced because of the modern electronic computer.
And I have some things to tell you about. There's a lot of things like online gaming, which really made gaming go up since the 80s. After the video game market crashed in 1983, people were a little skeptical about games. That's why they came out with magazines. And then, after the magazines, when the internet started, people can actually look up games online. And also, they can play games online. Some games are only online, cannot be played offline. And about 10% of life is spent of an online gamer online because they're really into it. And that is a lot. That is like 500 hours online or more. And also the relationships. A lot of relationships now are online. About 20% of relationships are started in a website like Match.com or eHarmony. which is pretty surprising because
Pretty substantial.
yeah, pretty substantial because some people don't have time to go out. And
Because they're playing video games.
yes, they're playing video games. Online gamers, online honeys. And also, online banking is really good because people don't have to worry about writing in subtraction or addition to the checkbooks about like cashing checks or payments, because that people make mistakes. They can bounce checks, which is very, very bad. And there's a big fine for it. And they can just check it on their phone, and then there's no hassle about it. And that is about it.
500 days online, not 500 hours.
5 people meet each other online.
Wow, look at these cats.
You should film this.
Oh.
Film this.
I am.
You are?
This can be our bloopers section. And we're done.